Okay, so we're back for part 3. And what we're going to do now is build a new ACL. That ACL is going to be bound to a group policy. And the group policy is going to be bound to the existing tunnel group that we created when we originally built this tunnel. That new ACL will override the sysop command, because you can see here that show run system option. We don't see anything here, which means sysop connection permit VPN is enabled. What we had in the first place was that means the crypto ACL is what's permitting and denying, and that's a full IP from host to host, right? So it's fast negotiation to build the tunnel. We disabled the sysop and put the outside ACL in place, but the only problem there is that if you have a lot of outside ACLs already, and now you're adding access for VPN traffic in that outside ACL, can get very messy, hard to manage, very big. If you ask me, putting remarks on the ACL just makes it worse, because there's just more stuff to read through, right? So what we can do here is apply totally separate ACL that only applies to this VPN tunnel. And you can do, if you have 10 tunnels, you do this 10 times, one for each tunnel. Very easy to manage. So you start with an access list. And in this access list, you always put the remote side first. Okay, so we'll just call it site 1 ACL. We'll permit TCP and our from host, and our remote side AP is 10.10.10. To host, our local IP equal to 80. Okay, so that's what we have in the ACL. Excuse me. Now we build the group policy. We'll call it site 1 GP for group policy, right? And it's internal. It's internal. And then we'll do the same thing, and then group policy site 1 GP, and then we're doing attributes. When you go into attributes mode, you do VPN-filter, the value, and the value is the name of the ACL we made. So site 1 ACL. Group policy is done. And then you recall we built down here the tunnel group, right, for firewall 1. We told it the type of tunnel is Lan-to-Lan. And we told it the pre-shared key under the IPSec attributes. We're just going to add to that. We're going to do tunnel group 111, and we're going to do general attributes. And under here you do default group policy and the group name, which was site 1 GP. That's it. We're done. So show ISA. We have a tunnel. We'll just clear it. Clear. ISA. Okay. And then if we do show, it's gone, right? So now from PC1, if we telnet over to PC2 180, it's open connection. We have phase 1 tunnel built. We have a phase 2 tunnel built. Packets, encap, decap, encrypt, decrypt. 2 SPIs. Everything's looking good. Fantastic. If remember, sysop connection permit VPN is still on in firewall 2. If our new ACL isn't working properly, then we should be able to SSH over to PC2. Now you can see it's not working out, right? If we do a show log, we're getting a deny from PC1 to PC2 on port 22, denied on interface outside. So our new access list, excuse me, our new access list is taking precedence over the sysop command, and is controlling what is coming into the network. Okay, so we can also use the ACL to control what goes out of our network, right? So we'll just add to that access. Well, let me just show you first, I suppose. We want to go outbound now from PC2. Say we want to telnet over to PC1. It's not working out, right? Connection refused. So if we go to back into the firewall and add to the access list, we call it site 1 ACL, and we want to permit TCP. Now remember, always the remote first. So the remote is PC1, even though he's the destination here for us. It's still PC1 equal to 80. Still PC1 is first in the ACL, and that's to host, or actually from host, PC2. Didn't like something. Did I miss something? Access list site 1 ACL permit TCP. Yes, I missed the the mask on this guy. So we'll say host. Perfect. It's in. Now if we come over here, we can give it a try. It's still not working because we probably have to do a clear ISA SA. Our tunnel's down. And now when we try, should be negotiating now, and there you go, it's open. You see? So take note of that because that's important. Don't forget that when you build the ACLs in the new access lists here on the new the elements in the new access list that are applied to the group policy, which are applied to the tunnel group, which is applied to this tunnel, right? Always the remote side first. So we were talking about allowing PC1 to get to PC2 on 80. We put their side first, which kind of makes sense because he's the source, we're the destination over here on our 80 port. However, he's still first even when he's the destination because we're really permitting us to get to him on 80, but he still has to be on the destination side, right? So that's the only thing to keep in mind there. And now our outside ACL strictly has elements that pertain to stuff coming in from the internet. This ACL pertains to this tunnel, and each tunnel you have, you just build a new group policy tunnel group, and they're so simple, right? There's not many commands involved there. I'll show you one last look at those way down the bottom here. Group policy, the name, internal group policy, the name, attributes, your VPN filter value, which is the ACL you built, and then you go into the tunnel group you already built, and you just add the general attributes, default group policy, the policy name. Done. Now you just play with that one ACL for this tunnel. You have a different ACL for each tunnel. Very easy to tell which ACL is for which tunnel, and your outside ACL is just for stuff on the outside. Okay, I hope that helps you out. I hope you like that. Any questions or comments, leave them on YouTube, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks for watching.